Welcome to the podcast where two loquacious, articulate, beautiful gentlemen talk in sonorous tones which transmit through the airways through the magic of digital transmutation and enlighten you to help blossom the inquisitive mind in your... Oh, alright, I peaked. We're also sick, so I'm calling this one the Contagion episode.
Yes, the Contagion. I hope the topics are on that theme.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DumbKants.
I should mention, as a prelude, something that has happened in the past is I broke my phone, which had extensive notes for all my musings over the past however long since we did the last one of these. And so I'm only recalling the ones that stuck in my mind. That doesn't necessarily mean they were good, but it does mean they stuck around for some reason. Anyway, so one that I had, when you turn 100, the Queen sends you a message. She still does, or like her lackeys. Like, let's be honest, the Queen's not fucking writing messages. She's signing them at best, and probably she's got some poor Korean girl locked up in the basement of Buckingham Palace, and they've like trained since the age of 6 months with hamster pellet dispenser sort of things and whips,
Send 100 messages.
Well, no, just to train her to get like that feel, and they've crippled her as well to make her hands as close to like the Queen's old demented hands, so it's authentic as possible. That's what the industry's like.
Yeah.
You horrible bastards who are turning 100. You should all top yourselves when you turn 99 and 11 months. Anyway, the point is, I was like, Queen sends it at 100, but 100... I think you've basically done everything you're going to do by the time you're like 70, 80 maybe. What the fuck kind of achievement is that besides the fact that you stuck around? What other ages do you reckon would warrant like a message, and who would be the best person to send them? Was what I kind of had this thought of. So, to start off, you're born.
Yep.
You're a baby. No one gives a shit. You get a card from your folks or whatever like that.
Well, your doctor.
Your creepy uncle sends a message to your mum and says, "Oh, I didn't know you had a beautiful baby," or something like that. Oh, straight into child rape. All right,
yeah.
Straight into child rape. That'll probably come up a couple of times in this. But no one gives a shit when you're a baby, right?
Yep.
I feel there is a moment when you're a toddler and you're first starting to walk and you take your first tottering steps, like you're walking along the carpet, you're walking towards the door or something like that. Grab it. And there's some stairs. Oh, glorious. There's something new to see. And you bust your head and you crack it open or something like that. You lose a moment of innocence. Basically, you learn that while your parents have kept you safe up until this point, the world is out to hurt you and you will be hurt.
Well, do you think you learn off that first time?
Well, I think it's a major milestone, most importantly, where you start to learn that the world isn't just soft surfaces which will, gently lower you down whenever you fall.
It's true.
So that initial loss of innocence, I mean, it's probably got to be like some sort of Catholic priest, doesn't it?
So what are we...
Cardinal Pell or something like that.
So what are we expecting here? A consolation letter? Congratulations, the world is dark.
Exactly. Or so maybe some dark philosopher like Nietzsche or...
You do not want a letter from Nietzsche when you're a baby.
But who was that fucking ugly one who was depressed about everything? Can't remember. Doesn't matter.
It was Nietzsche.
Well, there's another one.
Freud.
It's a running theme. Well, no, Freud would be like, congratulations, you thought about sucking your dad's dick. Something like, haven't we all? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you could get a letter.
Yeah.
Would you get a letter if you're only that age? Or is it
I feel like
one of those things where you read it later?
So Trent.
Yeah.
If you start getting bogged down in the logistics of this is going to be fucking all over the place. We've got like a tooth fairy kind of, or Santa Claus sort of situation here, where the person magically knows that you've passed this milestone and will send you the letter or deposit under your pillow or something.
See, when we're talking about the Queen's Korean letter slave, all I could think of is if that Korean was smart, she'd just learn Python and get Python to automate
dropping
the process.
some terminology.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But, like, she'd automate the process. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is. No, I don't... I'm sure the letters are form letters. I don't think she has to bloody individualise each letter. It's the signatures. And how many people turn 100 a day?
Not that many.
Okay, well, maybe.
Well,
You're ruining my point here. I was like, it's going to be hundreds of people. Like, the Queen doesn't have time for that.
no, I think not that many people actually do live to 100. It's getting more common, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what the fuck?
But then the Queen's going to die.
But what does the Queen seriously have
And is
to
Chaz
do?
going to take over?
Maybe.
Is it Charles is the next in line?
I honestly don't follow the royal family. I think it's whoever, like, Camilla's boning.
But Trent, you're plenty inbred. I would have thought you'd have, like, good sympathy for, like, a royal family.
Oh, maybe. No, but you got to remember, I'm from the, like, oppressed Irish subclass. We don't care about the British rulership. But,
That's right, yeah. You're just as bad as them, but for some reason you think porn, this gives you, like, some, deep, wholesome kind of integrity.
Yeah. I mean,
whereas really you're just a bunch of alcoholic, potato eating,
and we have a whole bunch
redheaded,
of, like, royalty porn in our, like, closet.
Yeah, exactly. That's
just
right.
because
it's all about
the
self-hatred.
monarchy.
And then the monarchy has always got, like, degrading, like, chav porn. It's messed up old world we live in.
Well, it's because you want to fuck whoever you hate. So, like...
All right, let's re-rail this train.
Yeah.
All right, so no fucking firm answers for that.
Well,
what do you reckon's the next major milestone in your life? I'm guessing toddler age, about 3 or 4 when you first
discover
become
pain.
a cropper. Yeah.
I guess your next one would be, like, sex.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're like 12, 13. No, I'm not saying you're rooting, but okay. When some fucking... let's see, what's a good music for this? So you're out and about on the town, right? Out in school with your little backpack on and, your propeller hat with all those little colours on the side. And you see Susie, and man, is she looking fine. That girl, flat as a board, but they all are at that
and
age.
You don't quite know why she's so appealing.
But those pigtails, there's something a little bit's poking through,
Yeah.
Maybe like that month you just felt that little tickling inside her stomach. And now you see her in a whole new light. And, you've had your first, like, erection or something like that. And you feel this feeling growing up inside you. And so you go up to Susie, and you don't know what you're doing, so you, like, hit her or something like that.
Poke her with a stick.
Yeah, exactly, the classic things. And she, like...
Gum in her hair.
I don't know, girls at that age are always more developed, so what she probably does a pile driver on you and beats your head against the cement while curb stomping you American History X style.
And then you're
and then,
strangely
and then, like, tells all your friends you're gay or something like that, so
Yeah.
you're a social pariah up until the age of 25.
Yeah.
So, the moment your heart is first ripped out by, the demons of our world, also known as women. Who best exemplifies that?
Who best...
Yeah, like who would send you a message? And I don't feel like the message would be like commiseration. Like, you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, hard luck, mate. Chin up, it gets better." There'd be this guy saying, "This is exactly what it's fucking about. It never gets any fucking better." Fucking women. It's gonna be like one of those like virginized school shooters or something like that. Who because like he couldn't find a girl who was into like coming back to his place and look at his collection of stuffed ferrets and roadkill.
Well, see, as a dude...
Yeah.
I would like to receive that letter from someone like Bullet-Tooth Tony.
Why is that?
Just because having some like chav English dude be like...
Well, no, but like I said, okay, so you get a message from the Queen, right?
Congratulations, mate. Women are fucked.
yeah, okay, no, fair enough. All right, yeah, I get you. I hear you. Yeah, he's just like, fucking birds, mate,
Yeah.
You can't fucking live with them. Yeah, that's right. You just can't fucking live
I
with
actually don't have anything to say on this that has any merit.
Mate, you'd be better off being gay if, we didn't fucking stomp gays anyway. It's sort of like, we just hate them because they've found a way out of this fucking horrible paradigm we find ourselves in. So then you frame it on your wall and it's like coated with your tears that you shed over Susie and never quite got over.
Well, what's the women equivalent? So after all the
Oh, fuck, I'm not thinking about women, man.
Well, I was just thinking, like, after the women have broken all the boys' hearts, then the boys start going...
I'm not solving women's problems for them. Lord knows they've given me enough of their own.
Well, what I'm wondering here is there like a sort of like a timeline here? So all the boys get crushed when they discover that the girls like pile drive them.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And then the boys now turn around and go like, fuck
No.
women. So then they're like...
Women get it approximately 15 to 20 years later, when they've gone through their first divorce and no bloke wants to fuck them because they've got a kid, and then like they're suddenly trying to get out in the dating field, and then they've got the desperate energy, and then like they don't know how to use that desperate energy.
So
Because then they go through their adolescence where they have to figure out how to pick up.
So guys go through it at 12. You reckon girls don't go through it any earlier?
Yeah. Well, guys start off like as the, if we were to use a sports metaphor, I guess like the girl's the goalie and the guy's the field kicker or something like that. And then you switch positions later on.
Well, yeah, because I guess in your youth, the girl's busy like being resentful that she's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all she gets is balls kicked at her face.
Yeah, exactly. And then like later on in life, you're trying to like resist all the balls that have been inside her.
Yeah,
you're just trying to let one through. There's only one ball. Like Lord knows.
Oh, can I find one that's not like?
You don't want the town sack of balls.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, so okay, so hang on, what age do we say that? That's 12, 13.
12, 13 for guys.
Alright, now, I think you spend like a blissful time where you find parties and friends, and you know, education is good. You're doing it because you're interested. You don't have to think about life. You just, let's see, what's a nice, you're just continuing on in the world. Oh, fuck, that's completely off.
Completely off, yeah.
I've got about 6 buttons in front of me, and you know, they're not all going to be perfect. So I'll just try to paint the picture with my words rather than with my music. So, you know, you just continue on through life. It's beautiful. You know, every day is a blessing. You see trees, they move in new and exciting ways. You learn new things. You love. You don't pursue what will necessarily make you successful. That doesn't matter. You know, what matters is learning something and becoming a better person. And if we all do that, surely the world will work out just fine. And then about the age of 23, 24, you know, you're fresh out of university, and then you're like, all right, you know, I'm a good person. I've had praise all up until this point. People are telling me I'm smart and capable. And then you're like, time to go onto the job market. And then you spend about 3 years while you're slowly ground out like a cigarette in an ashtray as all that joy and spirit is slowly whittled down and you become a nub of a human being. So I'm saying the next point is probably when you realise all your dreams are broken. You're not special. And yeah, you're probably going to die alone and unfulfilled. See, I was thinking Bernard Black or Dylan Moran. But maybe that's when you hit your midlife crisis.
That's post midlife crisis.
Okay, so we need someone equally as cynical.
Well, see, I was actually going a step earlier than that, but I'm not sure if it's significant enough. Which was like, you get out of uni, again, you're around like the age of 24. You're feeling all good because your whole life's ahead of you.
Yeah.
And then your early attempt at a girlfriend has now like ditched you or cheated on you, and then you've got additionally. All your friends discover, we're all going in separate directions. So you start losing a whole bunch of friends. And then you discover that like the static sort of routine life that you had starts to go out.
So like that period of separation in your life where you lose that sense of stability that like, you know, your fleet was all sailing together initially. And now everyone has to go back to their ports or like continue on to look for booty in foreign lands with black people that we can exploit.
Correct. And everyone gets like a sense of responsibility.
Yes.
When it first starts setting in and you have to adult. That I think is the most significant.
Now,
dreams crushed comes after you start adulting.
Okay. So sweet. So in that case, the progression is you have. If this is that period where you're like, all right, got to get my shit together, you know, look, I'm an adult now. You're not an adult at 24. You're so fucking clueless. But it's sort of like, I feel like that's when you need a motivational speaker like Tony Robbins or something. It's like, all right, every day we get up. What you didn't do today, you're going to do tomorrow. Hang on, why are you going to do something tomorrow? Do it right now.
You sound like Terry Crews.
Yeah, I can't yell. My throat's like fucking hoarse as anything. But, you know, like that's sort of like, just, you know, grab your balls and go, son, go. And that kind of energy works for a while. That really works. And it's very seductive. But, you know, pride cometh before the fall. Yeah. And so, like, this is where, like, all I can think of is Tony Robbins. I don't know any other fucking motivational speaker. But he sends you one, just, like, you know, a photo of him, because, you know, that's all he cares about. You know, big teeth shining, nice signature, all twizzly and swirls and everything. You got this, kid. And then, something like that.
Sounds about right.
Stick it up on your wall.
I had a guy I ran into not a couple of days ago, and he had this comment that he was like, early 20s.
Yeah.
Your only goal in life or motivation should be make money and bang chicks. That's all you're doing.
Yep.
Like, that's all you're trying to do. Make money, bang chicks. You're done with school, make money, bang chicks. Yeah. And then it gets, like, later on, and that's when you
There's
start...
got to be, like, See, that's a shit way of putting it. There's got to be, like, a catchy phrase for that, like, make the green and spread your seed. No, that almost rhymes.
Yeah.
That almost rhymes.
Well, there's a weird thing about that, because it's kind of like you're now going out into the market trying to establish...
Get the coin and empty the loin. There we go.
Yeah,
All right,
there you
he's
go.
got it.
Get the coin, empty the loin. That's good. Well, you're trying to establish yourself as, like, a viable mate at that point.
Yeah.
And then, like, later, you're like...
Yeah, later, when you're fucking so jaded by women that you never want to see them again, that's when you start to focus on those other
And that's where the midlife crisis comes in, because you haven't figured out how to do things.
Well, this is a good segue. Do you reckon there's any necessary points before you get to the midlife crisis?
Well, are we counting the midlife crisis as the same as, like...
Disillusionment?
Yeah.
I see, they're slightly different beasts, aren't they? Like, you know, one would say it's kind of like whiskey and bourbon. Like, to someone who doesn't drink spirits like myself, they taste the same, but to a connoisseur, you know, they've got a subtle difference.
See, I feel like the disillusionment is the prelude to the midlife crisis, because you get this...
So that's when the real sort of bollocking starts from life.
Well, that's where you're like...
Like, the first bit is where it just gives you, like, a quick kneecapping, and then it starts to put on its steel boots, like, you know, when the years start advancing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, because that's when you discover everything is shit. And then you're like... And that's when you're really assessing at the bottom of that bottle.
Yeah.
You're like... You're sculling it down, and then your bottle becomes empty, and then you're like, now I need to figure out what to do now that my booze is gone.
Yes.
And then at some point, you do something crazy no one expects.
Yeah.
You decide you're going to dye your hair, fuck off to Queensland, go on a cocaine bender.
Who are you talking about?
No one. And then you have a kid, and you come back, and you're a new person. So, like...
Some names have been changed to protect the innocent.
or like, you do something crazy, like, I'm going to start a fucking ant farm or something. You know what I mean? Like, you do something completely random, and then everyone's like...
I don't think there's any money in ant farming,
No,
Trent. I think that's just a name.
But everyone's like, where the fuck does that come from? And then it's your that's how you know someone's on a midlife crisis, because they're going on this, like, new search for identity.
That is a fucking I think that's hilarious that we all do, which is kind of like, you know, when desperately seeking a personality, you're just like, fuck it, I just need to do something different. Yeah. And someone's like, you know, why are you like the second best in the world at like shaving balloons now? Like, I don't know, I just need something that's different.
I just got to do something.
I need a personality, goddammit.
I need to do something, man. I mean, chances are a lot of it, I mean, in my experience, a lot of it happens where you don't know what to do and you're lost. And then you just talk to the first random who actually humors you, and they tell you something ridiculous like, did you know that growing maggots is extremely lucrative? And then you start going, yeah, that actually makes fucking sense.
That's right. I could grow maggots. Lord knows I did enough of it in university.
I'm so loaded with bourbon. These maggots make sense. And then it's like, and you know, somehow that leads to you getting a successful marriage, and it all makes sense to you. So you go on this, like,
and then you're married to maggot girl.
Yeah.
And you have your maggot kingdom, and a little crown with small gold maggots on top.
And I think that's it. And I think
you sit atop a mound of maggots.
Well, post midlife crisis, that's where you really find the person that is going to love you, because that is when you're at your both your most unique, but you're most fucked up.
My God, we're wise. Yeah, that's true. That's when you're the most broken, when you're just a smear on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, nothing of the man you used to be. Every bone broken, every dream shattered.
That's right.
And then you start to try to drag yourself up from the ashes, not like a phoenix. There's nothing glorious about it. No. You're literally just trying to survive. You're an amoeba trying to clump together with another amoeba.
You start growing some fungus on your...
Exactly. Yeah. You're the lowest form of life.
And then she comes along with a mop.
Yeah, exactly. And like, right, I've already got 3 children and I need a sperm bank to get me a 4th so the government will pay me my gyro. Rings you out into a bucket, rings you out into a container of what she wants you to be.
Well, first, she takes the bourbon off you, gives you some water. So she puts some water into you, and then she mops you up and brings you out into the bucket.
That's right.
Now you're clean.
For those at home who've been following along, I'm not sure what this metaphor actually means, so please feel free to write in with your own interpretations about what that means.
Hey, metaphors are good.
Anyway, the point is, who's giving you a fucking letter for that?
Who's giving you a midlife crisis letter?
Yeah. See, I don't feel Bernard Black works, but
Well, Well, I have a good one for my next milestone. But, the midlife crisis one, though, fuck.
Maybe that's just like mankind in general. Like, it's like when people do a petition or like, they do a letter on behalf of a certain group and someone just like pens off, say, behalf of this, just on behalf of men everywhere.
Maybe you get sent like a customary bottle of bourbon, and then like at the bottom of it is like a little note, so, like hang in there, tiger.
First one's free. Don't worry, you'll pay us back over many years.
Yeah, that's right.
This is not the only one you're going to drink over all that time.
That's right. And then the next milestone I was going to jump to is like when you find that person or like people, because it doesn't have to be like a love partner.
Right.
Those people that are going to sort of be with you through to your death.
Positivity.
I'm being positive here.
Do you mean like you're the people at the nursing home or something like that?
Yeah, well, okay, not everyone.
Who's the fucking evil nurse from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Oh, good movie, but I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, you got like Nurse Crankshaw or something like that. Anyway, you got someone like that in your life who like, she Stockholms you basically. It's sort of like, you don't like her because she's horrible to you, but she's the only one who's there for you.
That's right.
Kind of like just life in general, your family. Like, Lord knows you don't like them, but...
You just want to keep this in the dark, don't you?
The dying light of the afternoon is
true, actually,
necessitating this.
Yeah, look, in my mind... Well, I'm going off our theory here about, like, the person who finds you in your midlife crisis and then, like, pulls you out of it.
Right.
Or, like, just goes along with it and makes you sort of okay.
Yeah.
So then, like, or the people, because that could be friends or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone gets that. Some people just die alone.
Yeah.
But that's probably the next milestone when you lose everyone else.
When you die alone.
Yeah, no, like...
that is kind of a significant milestone.
What I mean is when you're the only one left standing. So you're the survivor.
But that's not necessarily something that everyone goes through.
Well, no, because sometimes you die before the rest of your family. But, like... Maybe, see, this is where it gets tricky, because, like, there are different milestones based on different things.
But that is a sort of thing, last man standing.
Like, you should get a, certificate for that. Like, you were the last one.
Kind of morbid, but yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. Congratulations, you survived.
Yeah, I think we've just completely gone off the theme about who's giving these out. We're just, like, listing off depressing milestones in life.
Well, I was going to say, if it's love... Like, if you find a life partner or friends, you would receive it from them. You know what I mean? Like...
Gay.
I know. But, to me...
I like my smoker's cough. It gives me a fucking extra kind of credibility as a worn-out, bloody, jaded gentleman in a smoking club.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got dreams, do you, kid? We'll see how long they
last. Look. The fact of the matter is, generally speaking, life's fairly depressing, and it can only, like, deteriorate due to entropy. So, like, what we're talking about here is giving people something to be, like, sort of congratulating them for getting this far.
That's right.
That's basically what the 100-year certificate is.
Kids out there, don't worry about it. You're going to meet someone by the time you're about 60, and then you'll be able to enjoy probably, in this day and age, the next 10 years of your life together, and, then you'll die from the machines harvesting your organ.
My topic was... I was going to talk about ridiculous... what you think about ridiculous fad diets. And what is the most ridiculous one you can think of or that you've read about? Because I've heard some pretty shocking ones.
Well, I feel like we can make a general statement that every kind of, not every fad diet, but like the majority of them, you play like a Mad Lib. You're like and then here's what you do, ladies and gentlemen. Pick a country that is not the country that you live in, and is a little bit exotic. So let's pick Poland. So I'd say the Polish. And then pick a fruit which is not generally... pick a fruit or vegetable, actually. It doesn't matter. Food source that is not generally consumed a lot of kumquat. So the Polish kumquat diet. Oh, have you heard of that one?
That sounds like an innuendo, just saying.
Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, so you
See, I went with like the Brazilian dragon fruit.
yeah, the Brazilian dragon fruit diet, even better, or like the Hollywood lemon diet, or that was one that actually existed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Or was it
it actually
Miami lemon diet or something?
I think it still does it. It's still.
But yeah, like, so if you want to create the newest brand of snake oil and flog it to unsuspecting consumers around the world, just do that. You probably have to rebrand it depending on what country you're in.
Yes.
But I figure if you pick one of those countries that like no one wants to live in, but everyone has got like this weird mystical interpretation of, like it's sort of like the Icelandic seal blubber regime or something like that.
Seal blubber regime.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen a fat Icelandic person? Lord knows I haven't, because I haven't seen any Icelandic people.
That's true. Yeah, but what about the established ones that allegedly have all this like sort of backing behind them? So, for example, the keto diet, or like the Atkins, which is kind of a version of the keto, or the fucking whatever the caveman one is, the paleo diet,
Yes,
all that sort of stuff. Because like, I mean, looking at it, I can see the merits of some of them, but then like, is it really necessary? Like,
well, see, the thing is like, you're on the fringe when you're going for one of those diets, though, aren't you? Because like while nutritional science like varies all the time, I think the rule's pretty well established. If you want to lose weight, just take in less calories than you use, while keeping up your vitamins and minerals. There you go. That's the secret. That's how it's done.
That is how it's done.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You could call hormones and you can call all that stuff, but basically the human body cannot keep getting bigger if it doesn't have the raw fuel to do it.
That is correct. I mean, but you get into all these things where they start talking about so like if you eat less, if you go into an energy deficit, you start hitting like starvation mode in terms of your metabolism. So your metabolism slows down.
Yeah,
so then,
okay.
Once that's happened, when you do eat, you pack it on.
Oh, what? You mean I'm not an expert on this, Trent? God damn it.
Oh, well. But I'm just saying, like, that's a thing that's happened, or that happens, which is why, like, intermittent fasting is, like, a thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, that is... I mean, one of the main theories I've heard behind not eating when you first wake up is because it gets your body into, like, a fat-burning mode, where it's like, I have no energy because I've been sleeping for 8 hours.
Right.
And now I've got to go another, like, 4.
Yeah.
And so... And so what it does is...
I have engaged the waffle button.
Well, what it does is it goes, well, the only source of energy I have is the fat on my body. So it starts eating that.
That actually worked quite well for burning fat as well.
It did actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My whole point was just saying, the rules of nutrition are pretty stock standard. Yeah. Like,
energy in versus energy
so
out.
if you're picking some random fad diet, you're already on the fringe, and let's like discard science because that's not really what makes one successful.
Well, would you consider, because this is relevant, vegetarianism a fad diet?
Not fad. It's been around for too long.
It persisted, but
Yeah.
like, sort of my point behind this is, you would think in a more like survival oriented like arrangement, you would just eat whatever's practical.
Oh, of course. And I don't think I am a vegetarian, so I can say I'm a bad vegetarian, but I would say I don't disagree with you. I don't think most vegetarians should realistically disagree with that. I mean, like, in the same way as like, Trent, in a survival situation, you'd drink your own piss, wouldn't you? So why aren't you like, head stuck in the toilet right now?
Yeah.
Free source of all those minerals and stuff like that. It's like, we do different things when we have to.
Well, because there's the big argument, like this is the main argument always between vegetarian versus meat eaters, is that like one or the other is both trying to argue, well, actually, it's just generally better for you to be vegetarian or eat meat or whatever.
Yeah.
So then they'll start like railing off all these things like, all the protein that's available to you is present in the vegetarian diet if you have X, Y, Z. And then like, the meat eaters will be like, yeah, but you can get it more efficiently in the meat. Or they'll say something like, yeah, but the bioavailability of like certain things it's harder to get them from plants because you have to get through like the plant cell walls and shit like that.
All right, let's not reenact every single argument.
But like that's what they start chucking at each other. So then it becomes, which one's the fad diet?
Well, okay, I'm gonna go back to your original question because that one's too close to my heart, Trent. I'm going to start being like, fuck you. You know, you get out of this house. You take your meat with you.
Well, I'm trying to
You never darken my
I'm
doorway.
trying to recreate the logo here, man.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the most ridiculous fad diet I've ever heard of. And I do quite love looking up these fringe sort of things.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this perfectly counts. There was an incident
An incident?
back in the 90s, I want to say, in Australia nonetheless,
Sounds scandalous.
where a lady tried to say she was I'm sure it's got a better name, but maybe Solarian or Lightarian or something like that.
Right.
So someone who supposedly,
no.
through the power of meditation, has foregone the need for standard nutrient sources, i.e. food,
Okay.
and standard supplementary sources, i.e. water, and can live just off the power of sunlight alone.
I assume she didn't last very long.
Well, 60 Minutes did a story on it because she was fully happy to try to demonstrate her claim, and I think she got hospitalised in 3 days? 3 or 4 days?
Well, with no water, yes.
I know, and I'm not sure if that quite fits as a crazy diet, but that was the one that instantly came to mind.
No, that's not even a diet at that point. That's a mental illness.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got its own official name. That means there's at least 2 people who do it.
See, that's people like believing in the wankiness of chakras and crap and think that they can sustain themselves purely off meditation, like spiritualism. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, look, all I can say is good on her to put her fucking faith behind her convictions.
I wonder if her faith changed.
That is a good question. I've often thought about that, like, you know, when people make a very falsifiable claim that is falsified right in their fucking face.
Because traditionally they usually stick to it.
Yeah, I know.
regardless.
I think she'll just double down, just be like, oh, I just wasn't good enough. Like, there's always, you can backpedal in that way. Just say,
Yeah.
I just wasn't doing it right. You know, I thought I was ready. I wasn't. Bit more meditation, a couple more years. And, you know, Lord knows, at one point in our life, we never need water and food again, do we?
Well, true. Yeah. And that's when we're all enlightened. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, damn, you've trumped mine. I thought I had the most ridiculous.
No, go on, please.
The most ridiculous one I've just come across is foregoing all food except for just sugar. And like the weird claim behind it
Hang on. Do you have a name for this?
I can't remember.
People who want to look this up at home.
I should have pre-researched
Like
this.
hang on. Oh no. Where the fucking Oompa Loompas come from?
Willy Wonka. So
Yeah,
like,
no, but where
the Wonka diet.
yeah, I was thinking, but I was like, where's the land that they supposedly, like, Loompa lands. The Loompa lands.
The Loompa Land diet. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Have
Loompa
you ever
land
seen a fat Oompa Loompa?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. They seem to get by, and, you know,
Yeah.
they just work off, exploitative labour practices of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate River.
And they have perfectly functioning livers. I mean, they're not like they're orange. But
yeah, that's right. That's not jaundice at all.
no, there's no jaundice. And they don't have a fungal infection in their hair.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't remember what it was called. I should have prepared. I'm sorry, but
That's all good.
no, yeah. The concept here is you can just eat like cake and confectionaries, and like the whole thing there is
So that's like extreme Atkins diet.
yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. So, no. Different, because Atkins was like no carbohydrates,
Yeah.
whereas this one's all
all
carbohydrates.
carbs, but like
But simple carbs, only simple carbs.
you just eat cake, cookies, whatever, and it controls your cravings. But admittedly, I think it is meant to be a temporary fat loss thing. But like, and the idea here is
I mean, you lose a bit of weight in your teeth at least. Probably
or your
bone
enamel
density is.
erodes away.
Yeah.
No, but because enamel's so heavy, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is actually, I think.
Stay on topic.
I am.
Stay on target. Stay on.
So the idea is you eat just this confectionery. It controls your cravings because you're eating what you want to eat. So you're
Yeah.
likely to stick to the diet.
Yeah.
And then because you're controlling all that, you'll eat less, overall.
Yeah.
So you don't end up like gaining weight or some bullcrap.
Right.
Which I personally think will not happen. I think you'll get hungrier and then you'll actually eat more.
Do you remember when you were a teenager and like early teenager, and you used to go over like a sleepover or something like that, and you were like completely feral, so like someone bought like a kilo of marshmallows or something like that,
Yeah.
and you'd all work your way through that during the night, and you felt foul as fuck.
yeah.
Like you was sticky all through your mouth, and
Yeah.
I know there's weird pain and
Well, you know how you feel like when you eat like copious amounts of fried chicken or something. Well, you probably less you.
Not
but
talking to the right audience.
Okay, like or hot chips or something. Something
Yeah.
you know, greasy
Yeah.
food. You feel greasy,
Yeah.
and then like there's bound to be some nutbag who thinks that feeling greasy is just you losing all your fat because it's like it's melting out of your
like
body.
they're using like 16th century kind of mentality of like you're just going to bleed out the humours.
Yeah.
So yeah, like to get rid of the fat, you must have more fat. Fire with fire.
Yeah.
Rah. Yeah.
No,
I'm just thinking of like, you know, how fucking hard you crash with like some sugar.
man, you would.
And if you were doing that for a sustained period of time, did you have any idea how long they were supposed to be doing this
I
for?
think it was only like a couple of weeks, and then
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
and
That's
like the idea here, I think the idea was like they control it, so it'd be like
what sort of
like a meal.
gutter bogan would you turn into
Like
from that?
no, seriously, like a meal would be like, and it saves you money too because a meal is like a packet of cookies. So you would eat normally, but you just replace it with sugars. So like, you have a packet of cookies for breakfast. Then lunch comes around, you might go through like a bag of marshmallows and maybe a chocolate bar.
Wow.
And then like dinner comes around, and guess what? You get to reward yourself with a nice healthy cake. And then like,
And then what do you do for dessert, Trent?
dessert is like double choc sundae.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, but or like a milkshake because you got to get your protein. But like,
No, fuck it. No, there's no protein in this diet. You
Yeah.
know, that's cheating. You know, that's unnecessary
but the
nutrients or weight gaining products.
But well, most people don't think of like milkshakes as having protein, but it has loads. But anyway, like so you do that crap,
Yeah.
and then the idea there is that like your metabolism's super high,
Yes.
because all it's doing is just like massively burning sugars.
Yes.
But like your balance is in check because you're only having like that one pack of cookies as a meal.
Yes.
So you're getting your total calorie count that you would normally get from a meal anyway in the cookies.
See, what I'm picturing here
But you
is,
get no nutrition.
you know those like tradies you see on like the bus or like, you know, walking with their 16-year-old pregnant girlfriend or something like that around the streets or whatever. And they always like, you know, massive bags under the eyes, like hating life at a very young age. You know, they've skipped through all these stages that we're talking about in a hurry. They always seem to be like having like those 1 litre cans of mother or whatever for breakfast. And like that's just sugar and caffeine. So that's a staple of the diet, surely. So there would be like a perfect test case. Just round up a couple of bogans, do some like tests that like... I'm trying to think, do I ever see like a fat person drinking mother?
I've seen a few.
Probably.
I work with a guy, but that guy downs like 6 cans.
Well, yeah, okay. So our anecdotal evidence, you know, we'll call it scientific. We won't publish it, but you know, it's 95% confidence interval says doesn't work based off these 3 cases we've thought
Correct.
of.
Yeah. And you can show that statistically, of course. So that lends you credence to your like ridiculous diet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this whole like.
But yeah, that one's balls out crazy. That's for sure.
I think it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's not as crazy as don't eat anything, but like.
I reckon I would prefer to starve myself for 2 days than spend 2 days eating nothing but like unrefined sugar.
I think that
or refined
I
sugar.
think that would
What the fuck
hold
am I
true
talking
for the
about?
first maybe day or two, and then hunger will set in, and you'll start going stuff it.
No, absolutely. I'm talking
Anything.
2 days. This is why I gave it like a
I
lower
see,
kind of
I see.
value.
Yeah. Because after hunger sets in, you'll eat your friends, but like.
Would you eat me?
I don't know. That's what scares me. Have you ever heard of like
Oh, hang on. All right. Way off topic.
different topic?
Way off topic.
one for another time. Right now, no, I would not eat you. That sounds gross.
I'm actually gonna save that for another podcast. I think that might be an interesting one where we discuss like the scenarios in which we'd eat each other, and if you'd be willing to kill me. But let's leave that for another time.
We'll leave that be.
I've had this idea that as part of our podcast, because Lord knows we distribute a lot of knowledge, but we tends to be like a little bit more airy fairy, like about like shits in toilets and what to do when your girl's on the blob or something like that. I can't.
Something I want to say about that, but anyway, carry on.
Anyway, I was like, we need to distribute some actually useful information to the world. I want this to be like a Trent and Alex solve some of those common life problems. Lord knows, we're not going to tell you like what to do with your business or your startup or something like that. There's plenty of other cunts who'll do that. We get down to the brass tacks, the blue collar problems of the world, and we'll give you some practical Swiss Army knife solutions for everyday situations. All right?
Yep.
So, first one that I can think of. You get up in the morning, you're fucking carrying on, blah, blah, blah. Do me teeth, put on me clothes, have a shower, not in that order, go to fucking work. Now, this is common enough with me that I've often wondered about a solution. You brush your teeth, you inevitably get a little bit of toothpaste on your pants. You do if you're me, because you're very excited.
Because you're fucking unco.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm very animated when I brush my teeth.
Yeah. Vigorous.
Dried toothpaste, to the untrained eye, looks like spunk. What do I do, Trent? What do I do? I'm wearing some nice black pants. Really shows off like the white contrast on my pants. I've got the important fucking work meeting. You know, Jan from HR wants me to figure out how to reorganize the Mobius system to make sure that we can fire 50 more employees so that a computer, or you can all shove it on one like poor bastard in a computer. What do? I've got spunky pants. I need to get in there in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now, I will say personal experience. I know I'm coming to the table with a lot of anecdotal evidence, and so you're naturally on the back foot. I know you're going to say lick your thumb and rub it on it makes it look worse. It makes it look even more spunky. Like, because then it's sort of like a vague smear, like it's come from the inside as opposed to from the outside. Like, before you just looked like you came on your pants. Or like, there's an unfortunate, you came on your pants as opposed to in your pants.
Yeah.
So what's your advice, Trent? I've got you on the phone. I'm like, I'm desperate. I'm hyperventilating.
Well, my initial reaction would be like, you're fucked because fluoride's used for like bleaching. But then like, what I would say, and this is, I haven't tested this at all, but if I had to guess, because I know water doesn't work efficiently to remove fluoride ions. So what I would probably say would be try oil.
Where the fuck am I going to get oil from? What do I wring out my hair or something like that?
The staff kitchen or something. Go get a little bit of like fucking olive oil and like put it on like a towel or something. Okay. Or like a paper towel and just rub it in.
So now I've got some oily pants.
Well, assuming that doesn't work, then I don't know. Like,
now, okay. So first line of defense, try to get rid of the evidence as quickly as possible. Bit of oil, something like that.
Yeah.
Second line of defense, it's not coming off my pants.
Cover it up. Okay,
so I walk in like a Japanese schoolgirl with like a book over my crotch or something like that.
Yes. Or you get something else that's normal and mundane like coffee and just spill it on yourself.
Okay, distraction tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. Or, barring that because you don't want to burn your ghoulies, you just like, use an old showman's trick of directing attention. You just immediately go for the handshake. Oh, Jane, like that. So then her eyes are on your face immediately. It's like, oh, shaking hands, sitting down. And then you just have to worry about the exit strategy. But then you can just, shuffle your papers for extra long.
So how can that work? I mean, this is solved if you're in America and you can just wear like a trench coat because it's cold enough.
I don't think... Well, actually, okay, no, fair enough.
Depending where on your pants.
I thought what you were going to say is like it's socially acceptable to wear trench coats. And I was like, I think they're a little bit jumpy about
like
that
one
since
of those,
Columbine.
one of those longer coats that goes down past your ass.
Okay. But, that requires preparation. I'm saying, like, in everyday life, you're not thinking I'm going to spill shit all over my crotch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean...
Distraction tactics.
Yes, the spilling something on your crotch works. I mean, here is the counterpoint. Well, not counterpoint, sort of like a side point. There is also the classic one where you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you put your hands on the hand dryer. Hand dryers naturally blows it straight into your crotch, looks like piss on your pants. Now, my strategy for that is always stop using the hand dryer. Hands are still a bit wet. Wipe them on your pants. So if anyone cares to look at your crotch, and believe me, they are, it just looks like you've dried your hands there rather than you've got like suspicious spackle.
I agree with that one.
Yeah,
a bit.
So like in that same vein, the old coffee spill.
Well.
But that's a lot of commitment.
Well, what do you think about the idea of just, like, owning the stain with confidence? So, like...
So this is line 3. I had the same idea. Like, if you can't remove it, if you can't hide it, you're going to have to acknowledge it.
Well, see, my in my mind,
Yes.
the most, especially if you're in a business meeting with other dudes,
Yeah.
the funniest thing you could do would be to make out like it is vaguely what they are going to think it is. And
Do you do it verbally or do you do it non-verbally? Do you just like raise your eyebrows?
no, like you just like you sort of ignore it.
Yeah.
Maybe you make some vague reference to why you're late because, like, you know.
Man, that's Susie. She's
Yeah.
a real whore, eh, guys?
Well, yeah, but a bit classier than that.
a bit too straight of a shot across the bows.
Well, yeah. Or if someone notices it,
Yeah.
you might just, like, look at it and make a joke and go, oh, this is embarrassing. And then, like, point out, why it's there.
Oh, mate, you know, underage girlfriends, eh? They just can't quite up get to my face, eh?
And it'd be like, oh, my girlfriend missed some.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's, yeah. Yeah, my girlfriend can't lick it all up. Oh, my God.
I don't know, like, something like that. Something that's going to resonate with other dudes.
And if there's a woman there, like there's this one, you know, woman, like really tightly buttoned shirt, tight skirt, like those horn-rimmed spectacles that like just emphasize her disapproval of you. And she's just like staring at you like you're already 3 rungs down on the ladder of
Yeah.
impressing her.
Or here's another one that doesn't involve another party.
Yeah.
You just completely own what they're thinking, which is like, be like,
It's not cum, all right?
No.
All right,
No,
stop
hang on,
thinking it's cum, guys.
No, you just sort of laugh immediately. And then you just like, be like, oh, sorry, I was playing with myself. And then you go,
Trent, this
No,
is
no,
the
no, hang
CEO
on.
of the company. What the hell are you on
But
about?
before that settles,
You are fired. You're a beyond fired. You'll never work
Hang on,
in this
hang on.
town again.
But
You're getting shipped off on the nearest train car.
But before that settles in, you just tell them what it actually is. So, like, you say what they're thinking as a joke, and then you immediately, just before that's settled in, you just immediately launch into, oh, no, it's just toothpaste.
Come on my pants, right, guys? That's
Yeah.
just toothpaste.
Yeah. And then, like, they won't know. So what's going on there is you were serious about the toothpaste, joking about the cum, so then you might either make them think it's just funny or like it's not actually cum because it's now a joke, where like, because you were serious about the toothpaste, I'll be like, oh, well, he was pretty confident. Like, you have to be confident.
I've agreed with you up until this point. I think this is a high risk,
they'll-
high reward strategy.
Okay, they'll rip on you for
This
it.
might end in an orgy, or it might end in,
Okay, but
chemical castration.
you have 2 outcomes here.
Right.
You can either be ripped on for it,
Yeah.
where they'll make fun of you about it, but at least it's a joke.
Yeah.
And there's that measure of doubt where it could have legitimately been toothpaste, but they don't care because they're dudes, so they're going to rip on you for it anyway. Or, especially if it's a work thing,
Yeah.
your other outcome is just like, they think you're some weird fuck, like filthy fuck, who's come on his own pants. And then now, no one wants to shake your hand or bond with you because you're this weird degenerate who's just gone like spoofed all over their pants and then gone to a business meeting.
Stop aggressively maintaining eye contact with me, Trent.
I have to.
I've agreed with you up until this point.
Yeah.
I disagree with you there. I feel, in terms of owning it, like, what you do is you don't acknowledge it. If someone's like, oh, what do you got on your pants? You're like, oh, that, I don't know. And then you just sit down. You kill it. You kill it with, you strangle the oxygen out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the way you...
I mean, because if you're just calling attention to the fact that it's spooge, then you've already gone through to, like, the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you, like... You conflict resolve everything, though. Is like you just
call it spooge.
No, yeah.
The Middle East crisis, it's all just semen, really.
You just don't give it any...
Somali pirates, well, they're definitely semen. Refugee crisis, more semen.
Where's that booty? You just don't give it any credence.
Very good.
But I don't know. My thing here was just like, it's kind of like not giving it's creating doubt about its level of credence.
Right.
I personally think it depends on your audience.
Of course.
Because like chances are no one's actually going to say anything about it regardless. So then you're left in a situation where they're judging you and you have no explanation.
So you need to control the reality.
Yeah. So like you need to go in and like, because you can assume they're probably going to notice. So then how do you control that? You either make sure they don't notice it by distraction, or you control the reality. So you launch in before they have a chance to create preconceived notions they're not telling you about.
I see.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But
Right. There you go. Simple 3-step process to get you through a common problem in everyday's life.
Toothpaste on your pants.
Toothpaste on your pants.
Not cum.
All right, let's sign off. Let's say thanks for joining us. You've been listening to the DumbKants podcast. You've also been listening to the brand new soundboard, which we'll no doubt be adding to. I hope you've got something out of today, and you'll come back tomorrow. That's a bit gay, isn't it?
And congratulations, you're all going to receive a certificate for signing up to...
Yeah, that's it. This is a major milestone in everyone's life. Oh, and if you do have anything that you want to desperately say to us, the email address, as I incorrectly said last time, is dumbkants@mail.com. That's mail spelt like the envelope and not like what we are. That's dumbkants@mail.com. Please email us. Lord knows we need some help.